typical New York March. 70 degrees one day, and then you're out of the sun and it's freezing, and then 40 degrees and raining the next. So just another day in New York City March weather. But yeah, back we're fully moving outdoors with training starting today. So big shift in club operations, and it does involve a lot of the youth teams today. But one thing to keep in mind, it keeps us different than 99% of the clubs out there, especially the youth clubs, is that we're actually not a youth club. We have substantial men's and women's side to the club. We have first teams in both genders. So it would be a little easier if we could just focus on the kids' operations, but we're very in tune and ready to get them all outdoors. So a lot to talk about from this past weekend. Really part of that transition started happening with a lot more teams playing outdoors this weekend, which was great to see, including both our men's and women's teams. So we'll get into that in a bit. But I'm going to touch on, as usual, we're going to touch on some soccer around the globe. Not too much of note to dive into in the Premier League, other than looks like Arsenal slowly establishing a comfortable moat around their, I think it's a 9-point lead now in the Premier League, and everything else falling into place. I think the other interesting story on the bottom end of that table is can Tottenham survive relegation, which would be quite a dramatic turn of events for the season. So we'll see what happens there. Because we have a lot to go over, I'm going to go right into the domestic side. So on the pro level, we had in MLS, we had Red Bulls scored on the last kick of the game. Just crazy effort and goal for them to tie Toronto FC 1-1, which I believe Toronto FC is where Josh Sargent just stepped into when him coming back stateside. So good on the Red Bulls getting that, at least getting a point out of that match, away match. NYCFC continues on a roll with the 3-1 victory, so good for them. And Gotham FC won away. The Boston Legacy, who 1-0 win for Gotham FC, again on the women's side, NWSL. That match drew over 30,000 fans, which is incredible turnout. What you would hope to see for a first ever inaugural game for the Boston Legacy, but honestly, with that number of fans, it's bigger than a lot of MLS crowds. So great start for the new Boston club up there, and we'll see how they progress from here. In the USL Championship, Brooklyn FC, with their second ever match, fortunately fell to Detroit City FC. If you know anything about this level of soccer, it's one of the hardest places to play across the country. So I'm sure it was an interesting experience for the Brooklyn FC guys. And they'll be looking forward to being back home this weekend. And the Brooklyn FC women's team played later that night way out in Spokane. Still a little snow on the field. I've been watching that game. Unfortunately fell in that match in the USL Super League. So they as well, the Brooklyn FC women, will be happy to be back in Brooklyn, I am sure. We will transition back to Brooklyn and Brooklyn City FC action across both days in the weekend. On Saturday, we had a number of friendlies. So we did some internal friendly matches, matching age groups, matching up some genders, mixing kids to play matches out at Bush Terminal Park, which is one of our home venues. It was great to get everybody out. The sun was out a bit. It was really windy, but it was great to get people out kind of on a last minute notice as the programming is taking shape now that we finally have all the snow off the fields. So it was a great day out at Bush Terminal for, I believe, from the U9s up until I think we ended the day with a U15, U16 girls scrimmage friendly. So it was great to get them all out, and I think a productive day across the board. Also at Bush Terminal, we had our women's ID session, still identifying new players for the many levels of women's teams in our club. So we have the WPSL, WPSL2 teams launching this summer. So we were able to meet quite a few new players, which was awesome to see. We had assistant coach Amy Marin out there, kind of leading the session, leading the day. So it's great to see some new faces and look forward to future ID sessions either later this month or in April. So stay tuned for more announcements there. And then later on that day out at Red Hook, we had our U14 boys. That's our 2012 Bridge Academy team with a big 5-2 State Cup win versus South Bronx United. So huge congrats to Coach Kisvar, those boys. Just a great result. Obviously, any win in the Cup is a great result. And they will be advancing to play in the next couple weeks in the East New York State Cup. So great job, guys, there. And then on Sunday, we had more action on the adult side. We had our women's team with their first outdoor competition this year with a friendly versus Fuel FC. I believe they walked away with the 4-2 victory there, but really it's more just about getting out, getting all the players out, or as many as we could, and kind of getting back on that full field, stretching the legs, just kind of getting back into full field tactics and all that. So great job on the women's side there. Look for some highlights on our social media soon. And then we had all three men's teams playing. Ironically, as we previewed on St. Patrick's Day, St. Patrick's weekend, it turns out that we had two matches against the New York Shamrocks. So like we said in the caption and social media, it's had to be somebody. It might as well be us. So lucky day for the Irish. Maybe not lucky, but a good result for them. So first team, we fell 2-0 to the Shamrocks, and their second team was a 1-1 draw. These matches took place out in Reynolds Island. So a little disappointing, I know for our first team especially, but long season ahead. Playing away against the Shamrocks on St. Paddy's weekend, probably not the easiest task. And then big congrats to our BCFC third team for their first victory of the year. This is a brand new team. It's come a long, long way from their first match in September. And they've really shown a massive improvement in quality. Jumped out to an early 2-0 lead against Junior Mafia FC. This was a home match for us, which we played out at Red Hook right after the women's friendly. So yeah, our BCFC three men jumped out 2-0 and then held on. Junior Mafia had a second half goal, but we held on to snag that victory in 3 points and jump a spot, I believe, in the table in Division 3 of Cosmopolitan Soccer League. So big day for them. And then last but not least, probably the most thrilling match of the weekend, heartbreaking for us, but our U17 boys, that's our 2009 Bridge Academy team, had a State Cup home match out in Red Hook. And after being up 2-0, just playing their socks off, conceded two very late goals in the last 10 minutes, and then fell in PKs, I believe it was 5-4, to fall and be eliminated from the Cup against a good Triborough United 09 team. So congrats to Triborough. Good luck to them for the rest of the Cup on their end. And a great effort. It's super disappointing. We know how disappointed our guys were. They really put in a good performance, just couldn't quite finish out the game. But really a great performance. I was actually on hand to watch most of that match, and it was just really represented the club well. So we're very proud of them. And that pretty much closed out the weekend. So, and I'm sorry, last but not least, we did have a U8. We had two U8 tournaments at Soccer Roof on Sunday morning. Our U8 girls and our U8 boys were able to get in some 5v5 indoor tournaments in Soccer Roof Sunset Park. So great to get them out. They'll play some more small-sided stuff before their outdoor league festivals start in April. So a lot more to come this weekend. We've got more league play on the men's and women's side. We've got league play fully rolling out on the youth side. And going to be a lot to preview on Friday and a lot to talk about next Monday. So until then, thanks for tuning in again. We will see you soon, and have a great week. Take care.